How to use this book. A widow who's been there, who was shocked by the struggle and certain of despair, penned this book you are reading. Even when she was sure she couldn't take it anymore, she held on anyway and kept knocking away on God's door. Although God never answered with the cozy peace and comfort promised by loads of sympathy cards, one day when she tried the doorknob to God's house, it turned. That door creaked open to the ancient book of Ruth. The widow entered and found herself drawn into a world of timeless truth, a story of real widows, just as fresh and practical as any living today. I was that widow. I discovered that the book of Ruth captured the ever-changing landscape of grief, the various ways people process grief, the plethora of choices for widows, and the amazing love and relationship God has in store for all of us. The book of Ruth answered my questions through a story without ever wagging a "you ought to," "you should" finger at me. There are many ways to read Postcards from the Widow's Path, and I hope you'll return to it many times, that it will serve as your own walking companion through the valley of the shadow of death. Please don't think you must read it cover to cover. Instead, in the early days of widowhood, I advise you to only read the postcards at the beginning of each chapter. These imaginary little notes from the widows in Ruth will settle your soul and give you hope for the day. If you're interested in my personal story, you'll find it comes next in how this book came about. If you're family, I'm sure it'll make you cry, so don't say I didn't warn you. You might not agree with my recollections because they don't match your own, or how you thought I was doing. But this is the story of my private and inner struggle, and how God's word sufficiently seeded hope, and has since brought it forth abundantly. The last person I intended to write about, however, was me, so I don't mind at all if anyone skips my introduction. The important part is the story of Naomi and Ruth. After the postcards, when you're ready to give it a try, read chapter by chapter at your own pace. Thoughtfully consider the journaling exercises at the end of each chapter. Writing things out is a big help in grief. You can write directly in the book, in a journal, or, in my personal favorite, an inexpensive 4x6 spiral notebook that you can find at any discount store. If you choose this option, you'll find it's just the right size to tuck into your purse or carry alongside your Bible. The journaling exercises will provide you with a marvelous record of your transformation. I like that word so much better than healing, for grief is not a disease. Months from now, when you reread what you wrote, you'll be filled with wonder at the work God has done in your life and in you. There is a 5-part discussion guide for Postcards from the Widow's Path at my blog, www.widowschristianplace.com. Why not gather a few other widows together once a week or once a month and select a couple of the questions to chat about? Provide a pot of coffee or some hot tea in the winter, a chilled beverage in the summer, accompanied by a box of tissues and a willingness to share, and you'll be giving yourself and others a true and much-deserved gift, the treasure of deep, lasting friendships. Speaking of friendship, I encourage you to visit my blog. You'll find helpful articles, links to grief support groups and widows ministries, and me. I'd love to hear from you, and we can all learn from and lean on each other.